Alicia couldn't believe it, but the minute her 5:30 a.m. alarm went off, she was ready to spring out of bed and embark on a new morning run. The promise of a fresh start to the day was too enticing to resist. She swiftly completes her morning routine and sets her sights on Berry Trail, a picturesque route for her morning run. Alicia steps out the door, feeling the cool touch of the morning air on her skin, and takes a final adjustment of her shorts before taking a refreshing sip of water. Little did she know, this run would be far from ordinary. The morning air welcomes her with a cool breeze. At this point, she feels unstoppable, and a sense of renewal fills the air. Alicia steps off the curb and begins to jog towards her destination. She waves at her neighbor as she breezes by and nods gently at another. Breathing in the fresh air, she embraces the purity and glides down the street, ready to conquer the world. Not too far from sight, she sees the entrance to Berry Trail, a popular trail used by many hikers and joggers. Smiling at the hikers as she passes, she stops far from the trailhead to tighten her laces and do some final stretches. But as she pulls down from a stretch, she hears the faint sound of a woman crying. Alicia quickly turns to the side and canvasses the area for the source, but all she hears and sees are the other hikers and joggers. Unsettled by the sound, she quickly brushes it off and begins her run. She wonders if a bug could be the culprit of the sound. Realizing that she's still thinking about it, she makes another attempt to shake it off. The sun beams down on the trail as hikers and joggers descend it. Alicia is starting to feel at ease as she lets her mind free. Her eyes shift to the clouds above as she watches the morning birds take flight. Taking in the trail's natural beauty, Alicia tells herself there is much to be grateful for. As her feet hit the pavement, she is propelled further into the beauty of Berry Trail. Suddenly, a gust of wind blows her way and pushes Alicia off the path. She stumbles a bit and tries to pivot back onto the trail. "Oh!" she shouts out loud. Caught entirely off guard by the wind, Alicia pulls herself together and begins her run. She looks around, trying to determine if the wind is as strong elsewhere on the path. But to her surprise, the trees and foliage all appeared calm and barely swayed. Odd, she thought, but that wouldn't stop her from enjoying her run. Alicia sprints forward and starts back on the trail. Fellow joggers pass by and exchange friendly nods. The picturesque scenery continues to unfold as she runs along the trail. Taking in full breaths of the fresh air, Alicia begins to feel a sense of calmness. All seems aligned again, and her mind drifts to a carefree state. A butterfly could be seen fluttering in the air next to her as she admired its color and beauty. Then, another butterfly, seemingly out of nowhere, flutters in front of her face. A bit shocked, she quickly dodges it and laughs, but then another one shoots across her face and another. Alicia finds herself swatting away the brigands of butterflies. She fumbled as she tried to swat them away, but it almost seemed like the more she swatted, the more butterflies would appear. Trying to catch her breath, she falls to the floor and ferociously swings her arms around, trying to break away from the swarm of butterflies. She falls to the ground, and before she can swat the one coming directly toward her eyes, she is blinded by a light. Alicia attempts to close and open her eyes, only to see a giant butterfly floating before her. She tried to shield the bright light from her eyes, but it got brighter. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, she hears a female voice asking, "Hey, are you okay?" Alicia blinks a few more times and realizes she is no longer surrounded by butterflies. She looks up and sees another female jogger looking intently at her. "What just happened?" questioned Alicia. The other jogger shrugs her shoulder, unsure of what Alicia means. She helps Alicia up and off the ground. "Thank you," she replies. "You didn't see the swarm of butterflies?" she asks. The jogger shakes her head. "I might have seen a few fly by along the trail, but not a swarm." A confused Alicia responds, "I must be having a really off day. I'm sorry you had to stop. I'll let you be. Thank you again for helping me get back up on my feet." Alicia tries to shake hands awkwardly. "I'm Jasmine, by the way, and it's no biggie. But if I had to be honest, I'm also having a pretty off day." The statement piques Alicia's interest. "Really?" Jasmine nods. "Yeah, it's hard to put into words, but it almost feels like I'm having a bit of déjà vu." Jasmine starts to walk towards the tree next to Alicia. "For instance, this tree looks exactly like a tree I ran by a few minutes ago. This whole area feels the same." She then turns to Alicia. "The only difference is that you're here." Alicia finds the scenario odd and intriguing. That's strange, says Alicia. I think I'm gonna head home and try to shake this weird feeling, says Jasmine. While collecting their thoughts, the two casually walk along the trail. Each step brought on a new sense of unfamiliarity. Jasmine finally pauses and turns to Alicia. Is it just me? Or does it feel like we're not heading back in the right direction? Alicia looks off to the side and turns around to inspect her surroundings. You're right, this doesn't look right at all. The two quicken their pace as they notice the sun disappearing and the trees around them slowly being engulfed by the fog. Becoming increasingly concerned, Alicia stops and tries to go for her mobile device, only to realize she left it at home. Jasmine then looks at Alicia, and with a look of concern, she tells her, I had my jogging pouch with me, but it's gone. Alicia's eyes are then drawn to a dark portion of the trail. What is it? What do you see? Asks Jasmine. As she slowly turns around, they are faced with a monstrous being coming out of the shadows of the trees. Run! Alicia screams. The two run as quickly as they can. They are frightened beyond belief, running full steam ahead and screaming for help. But no one comes to their aid. Their pace begins to slow down, and as Alicia turns around to check, she realizes that the monster is gone. She nudges Jasmine, and the two stop to catch their breath. Let's find a place to hide, suggested Alicia. They run toward a giant rock formation. The two quickly find a small opening inside it and decide to hide. Overwhelmed with uncertainty, they continue to hide and listen for sounds of footsteps or any other indication of life. The lull sounds of the trees are the only things they can hear. Suddenly, they hear footsteps drawing closer to them. Jasmine and Alicia grasp each other tightly, fearing the worst. Hello? Inquires the voice. Shocked by the voice and sound, they share a glance, unsure what to make of it. Hello? She asks again. Please don't be scared, I won't harm you. That sounds like a little girl, whispered Jasmine. Alicia is unsure of what she hears. I don't hear it, she questioned. Jasmine peeks outside the hiding spot and sees a little girl standing nearby. She frantically waves for Alicia to follow her. The two come out of their hiding spot. Jasmine asks the little girl, What are you doing here? It's dangerous out here, she cautions. Alicia backs away from Jasmine and asks, Who are you talking to? A confused Jasmine confidently replies, What do you mean, who am I talking to? I'm talking to her. As she points at the little girl Alicia cannot see. She can't see me, says the little girl. What? Asks Jasmine. She can't see me because she doesn't belong on this side, says the little girl. Alicia grows concerned and tells Jasmine that she doesn't see anyone. Suddenly, a rush of pain comes over Jasmine, and she falls to the ground. Alicia rushes towards her. What's wrong? She fearfully asks. It hurts, it all hurts, screams Jasmine. She wails in pain as parts of her body begin to rip open. Alicia's eyes widen in fear. What's happening? She intently questioned. The little girl glides over to Jasmine and grabs her hands. It will all be okay. You must follow me now. Jasmine looks up at the little girl, and then over at Alicia. I understand now. Jasmine wipes the tears from her face and slowly gets back up. As she does, the wounds on her body begin to heal. Words escape Alicia as she watches intently at the oddity unfolding before her eyes. But what about her? Asks Jasmine. She will return to her side, says the little girl. Jasmine turns to Alicia and grabs her hand. Could you do something for me? She asks. Yes, sure, replies a confused Alicia. Tell them to look for the misshapen rock formations on Berry Trail, says Jasmine. Sure, but who and why am I saying this? I don't understand, she asks. Jasmine begins to back away from Alicia and grabs the little girl's hand. She smiles at Alicia and says to her, That's where they will find my body. Jasmine turns around and walks off with the little girl, and as she does, she begins to slowly fade into the mist of the forest. Trembling in fear and shock, Alicia quickly turns around and begins to run away, but suddenly trips and hits her head on a rock. She immediately passes out. Alicia begins to emerge from her unconscious state, only to find that she is back on a sunny path. Extremely overwhelmed with her experience, she begins to jog back home. As she approaches the trail's exit, she notices a group of media outlets and police officers. She pauses in her tracks and flags the closest person next to her. "What's going on?" she asks. "They said a young woman disappeared a couple of days ago after she went for a jog on this trail," said the stranger. "Did they say her name?" she continues to inquire. According to the flyer, her name is Jasmine Vasco. Alicia turns to face the flyer, and as she walks up to it, she notices the picture of the missing jogger. The face on the flyer is the same woman she met on the trail a few minutes ago.
Please like and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to click on the bell icon to get new video updates.